Good morning again. I am Maria Figueroa, a member of your Board of Trustees. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and seasoned. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. Whether you join us in person or online, we're glad you're here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. As we do each week, and as we begin our gathering, I respectfully acknowledge that I speak to you today from occupied Puyallup and Coast Salish ancestral lands. I pay respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to their descendants and all Indigenous people. We are joining you again today in multi-platform mode. You will see some of us in the sanctuary and others zooming in online. For those meeting in person today, we invite you to join us for coffee time following service. Red mugs are for visitors who would like to chat. For those in person, this facility is equipped with a hearing assistance system. Devices are available in the table in the back of the sanctuary. We continue to welcome our children back to our religious exploration program. Registration forms are available on our website as well as on Sunday mornings. We are in the midst of transition and we need you to help make this a smooth ride. As RE continues to grow, we need volunteers to support it. Please see Chrissy Kim or email board@tahomauu.com to sign up to volunteer to help. If you're regularly online, consider volunteering to be a host who welcomes people as they enter and who supports our online worshipers. Orientation and guidance will be provided. It is an important way to support our ongoing online Sunday services. We'll need a few more people to serve as celebrants, help support the speakers and ministers who will be providing us with worship until our contract minister is in place, and to assist with worship as we go into the fall. Training, support, and loud cheers are freely and happily given to all who step forward to assist. We are also identifying people to serve on the worship committee. Please let Board President Chrissy Kim know if you can help us in that way. After the service, please join us to say goodbye to Reverend Linda at our enhanced coffee hour. There will be cake. As always, details for our upcoming services can be found on our website or in the e-news. Next week, we're having a watch party of the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly worship service. It's always an inspiring service with a full choir and some of the most talented preachers, storytellers, and worship leaders. Bring snacks to share as it'll be a more casual service. Those of you at home will be able to tune into the service online via the UUA's website. And we also have an announcement about our TUUC Pride booth at Tacoma Pride, and that takes place on Saturday, July 8th from 12 to 4. And we need volunteers to help with setup at 9 a.m., setting up the booth, and etc. Please see Doug Booth, who's right there with the lovely ears, to sign up. And now we will begin our worship service. And
Good morning. Thank you, Marianne. I am, I think everybody knows this is my last service here. And so I am like falling into nostalgia really deeply. So it may be a bumpy ride, friends, just to let you know. Marianne, one of the things that has been very dear to me during my time here is your ability to select music that gives us a little turn on whatever's on every day. And my very, very favorite moment in my 9 years of your music was the day that we had someone speaking about space. And you started off with Space Oddity. You know, ground control to Major Tom. Uh-oh, there's a backstory. Oh, so there was also the backstory that her brother had died a couple days before, and his name was Tom. So there was a lot of meaning to it. It is something that I will miss. Our opening words by my colleague, James Hobart. We come together not to celebrate our arrival at journey's end. Rather, we assemble as a people to set forth for new lands. We come together not to celebrate the completion of our work, of the work at hand. Rather, we assemble as people ready to take up new tasks. We come together not to celebrate our receiving of a final truth. Rather, we assemble as a people seeking deeper insights and intuitions. We share in common these convictions. Our accomplishment is found in the love of the journey whose final destination no one has seen. Our satisfaction is found in the love of the work whose final dimensions no one has known. Our common wisdom is found in the love of truth, whose final unfolding no one has described. Let us seek to be loyal and loving one to another, steadfast companions of the way. Together, let us seek to be faithful to the way wherein lies the journey, the work, and the truth. It is good to be together this morning. I'd like to invite my husband, Peter Tietz, to come and light our chalice for us. Let's join in saying our words for the lighting of the chalice. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. We're singing my favorite hymns today. So we're going to start with Blue Boat Home, 1064 in the Teal Book. There we go. Ooh. Better? Little down, little. You're going to need to bring it down a fair amount because I'm going to get louder in a few minutes. So the first Sunday I did a whole service, the first Sunday when I wasn't like coming to meet y'all for the first time, the congregation was like not in a very happy place, to say the least. For those of you who were around at that time, you'll know that there'd been a lot of conflict and it was just kind of a tough time for everybody. And so I decided that we would start off by just kind of trying to lift our spirits. So we're going to do the same thing that we did that time, way back 9 years ago. We're going to laugh together, and we're going to, I forgot something. Well, I'll show you. I have some props. to share. So I'd invite any of the children who are here or people who are childlike or who just want to come forward to come up with me. It's not a requirement. You can stay where you are if you want, but you can come join me if you want as well. And we're going to stand up. We're not going to sit down because I can do it with my jacket on and all this stuff in my pockets. Okay, so we're going to do laughing yoga. Y'all get to do it too. So everybody, you can do this seated. You don't have to be standing. If you're more comfortable staying seated, please do. But it's a good one to be doing standing up. So, and you might want to get a little room because it takes a little space. So the way this works is we're going to all breathe in and bring our hands up. And then as we exhale, we are going to laugh vigorously as we fall over. Yes, exactly. All right, so here we go. Arms down, ready? Breathe in, everybody up. And then laugh. Again, breathe in. One last time, ready? And go. Anybody feel sad? All right, adults, you can go ahead and have a seat. The second thing that I suggested that everybody needed to do was to, you can put up the slide now, Michael, real quick. It's not up yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to be like, y'all know Sandra Boynton and her elephants? She's a cartoonist. Okay, guys, we are going to be fantastic. You're going to have to stand up again. Okay, I forgot. I forgot that you're going to have to stand up again. So we're going to strike some poses. And I have, anybody want some lenses of love to be wearing? 1 and 2. Sorry, I only have 2. I'm sorry. Here, you want some regular sunglasses? All right, cool. I'm sorry I don't have enough for everybody. But I do have some things to give out to you in a minute. Okay, so we're going to stand around and be fantastic. So strike a pose, gang. Come on. Another one. Be fantastic. Woo! I mean, we are so awesome. Are we so awesome? We are so awesome. Ready? We are so awesome. There it is. Fantastic. All right. Y'all can, actually, you're going to stay up because we're going to sing. I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to sing the kids out to their classes. You're welcome to wear the sunglasses downstairs. I'd appreciate them back at the end of the day. Let's go. We hold you as you go, as you go. May your heart as you go. Precious love, we hold you as you go. I think we go to Bob now. Oops.
We now come to the part of the service, the offertory. There is so much that this church continues to do, not only for the people in Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation, but the community that it serves. And all of that is possible because of your offerings, giving us the financial basis to be able to have this building, to have our ministers, to have our supporting staff, to do the things that we do to make a difference. So for those moments that TUUC has brought you clarification in your life, for those moments that you have celebrated with members of our congregation, the things that we've accomplished in the community. For these things and so many more, please take a moment to make your donations to Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation and help us continue to bring the spiritual growth, the opportunities for understanding, and the greater community brought together because of what you have contributed to our goals. Thank you.
Would you join with me in the words for dedicating our offering? We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls. Let's take a few moments for quiet and reflection, meditation, prayer, as is most your custom. I'll share some words and then we'll have a time of stillness together. I'm going to start with some favorite words from Carter Hayward. We are not automatic lovers of self, others, world, or God. Love does not just happen. We are not love machines, puppets on the strings of a deity called love. Love is a choice, not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. In these moments of stillness together, let us open. Let us come into this time without pretense, without guile, fully present to all of what is present in us and around us. The work of love in the world is not sweet and pretty all the time. It is not what is given to us. It is what we choose. To love the world, the grime and the loss of it, no less than its wonder and loveliness, apprehending it all for all that it is. It is a choice to be fully present, no pretense, no guile. To love each other, never forgetting the priceless beauty in every face, in every heart, no exceptions. Never forgetting the brokenness, sometimes abiding at the core, the source of our deepest wounds, often the source of our greatest power. Let us learn again and again that we are joined to one another, more alike than we are different, choosing to be present to another, choosing to be fully present to another, no guile, no pretense. This is the work of a lifetime. Let us take it up again this day with joy and intention, today and every day. Let us pause in stillness together.
And now a reading to go with today's service, A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solnit.
So may it be.
Lost really has
Amen.
two disparate meanings. Losing things is about the familiar falling away. Getting lost is about the unfamiliar
Hey, Bob,
appearing.
you're going to need to start again, hun.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
A reading, A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solnit. Lost really has two disparate meanings. Losing things is about the familiar falling away. Getting lost is about the unfamiliar appearing. There are objects and people that disappear from your sight or knowledge or possession. You lose a bracelet, a friend, a key. You still know where you are. Everything is familiar except there is one item less, one missing element. Or you get lost, in which case the world has become larger than your knowledge of it. Either way, there is a loss of control. Imagine yourself streaming through time, shedding gloves, umbrellas, wrenches, books, friends, homes, names. This is what the view looks like if you take a rear-facing seat on the train. But looking forward, you constantly acquire moments of arrival, moments of realization, moments of discovery. The wind blows your hair back and you are greeted by what you now have never seen before.
In the very first sermon I offered here at Tahoma UU, I told the story about my wild youth. Anybody here remember that story? Okay, a few of us were here for that one. Yes, that story from my wild youth about that time when I went to the local free clinic in our little town outside of Washington, D.C. To get an infection treated that I didn't want my mother to find out about. And yes, it is likely the kind of thing that you're thinking it might be right now. What I hadn't counted on, though, was Dr. Shea, a member of our congregation, the Unitarian Universalist congregation. Yes, the Rockville UU congregation. Doug was a member there. I wasn't expecting him to come walking into that curtained area where I was waiting to be examined and treated for the infection that I knew I had. He looked stunned. I was totally stunned and felt certain that I was busted and that my life was about to get a lot more difficult. He did the necessary exam, gave the nurse instructions for treatment, looked me in the eye and said, and then you put your clothes on and you wait here. We're having a talk. Busted indeed. But he came in and sat down and looked at his hands for a moment and then said, I want you to know that you need to take care of yourself because you are important to us. I want you to be safe. You matter in the world and we love you. At 15, I probably didn't take it in the way that I have in years past, but I did hear enough of it. I have believed for most of my life that his words that day were part of saving me, literally saving my life. I truly believe down to my bones that the kind of love and care that he extended to me that day and that congregation extended to me again and again and again and again, that kept me alive, literally. It kept me safe and connected. You see, my friend Eric, who was a year younger than me and the gay kid of conservative parents, lived right around the block from us. He had run away at 13 and made his way on the streets as young men and young girls do, by way of prostitution. He would come home sometimes and we'd connect, and sometimes I'd hitchhike into DC with him and we'd meander around the strolls where he walked to pick up men. He would get us into bars. A year younger than me, I was 16, he was 15. He would get us into bars. I'm not quite sure how all of that happened. We would visit people that he knew. And I was at the edge of a very different life, very, very different life. But rooted in my youth group, liberal religious youth, which we, some LRY, which we sometimes talked about as loud, rowdy yahoos or lesbian refugees from Yugoslavia, which is my personal favorite. That youth group and my congregation, because of them, I made it to college and my life shifted. The death of our beloved minister in my first year of college set me on a path towards ministry. Eric called me in my junior year at college. He told me that his partner at the time, an older man who was supporting him, had come down with a rare form of skin cancer. This was 1979, on the cusp of the explosion of the HIV epidemic in the gay community. Eric was infected too, though I know now that he survived beyond that early crisis and lived not long enough, having died some years ago. He and I had lost touch, you see, and for years I was certain that he had died in that early wave. But at a high school reunion a few years ago, I learned that he had lived on with the condition for a few decades. It was never lost on me that his story could have been mine. And I believe wholly that it was my connection to that congregation that saved me. I wholly believe that. At some point, and I don't remember quite when this was, after I was in seminary, I think I was able to return to that congregation and say thank you to them for saving my life. It was such an honor to do that. But what was most surprising to me was when I stood near the pulpit after the service, elder after elder, all my friends' parents, right, came up to me to tell me that the congregation had saved their lives too. These many years later, I understand better what they meant. How what I had experienced was, well, what a congregation does at its best, right? All of this continues to inspire me in ministry. And I have watched the ways in which this congregation exhibits that same kind of love and care the kids who found connection here, the adults who supported each other, the friendships and love that is sustaining and life-giving. Now, there are a collection of quotations that I turn to again and again and again. Some of you may be able to recite some of them with me because I have used them so frequently. I occasionally get reminded that I only used that one story like a week ago. I am understanding that aging process a little better these days. But I'm going to raise one that continues to speak to me, written by my colleague, Bob Carnan, one of my mentors, and who wrote this a year or two before his death that was way too early. He wrote, "There is no more critical task for our lives than the courage to love and to be there honestly and fully for one another. Deep and good friendship and all the trust and serenity that come with it are transformative. Friendship, deep friendship, makes a healthy life possible, even likely. It makes for peace and strength in facing the hardest issues. Doing what we can for what is right, just and fair where we live is the most powerful social justice force on earth. The quality of love and goodness that we expose from our sometimes reluctant hearts will change the world. I believe it." And that's what it's about, to be a part of this community. And that's what saves us, that quality of love and goodness, those friendships, those people who are there for us, the transformations that are possible when week after week, we stop to consider what it means to live in this world, what it means to love, what it means to be a good person at all. Congregations have the capacity to change us and thus to change the world over and over again. And I know that many of you have doubted that, and I suspect that you'll doubt it again. I have doubted it, and I probably will again. It's just a part of the ebb and flow in the life of a community. And here we are, friends. Here we are at this important moment of change for the congregation and for me. When this service is over and we celebrate the time we've had together with cake and coffee and some other stuff, I think I saw some stuff coming in this morning that I'm not asking questions about, but I suspect that there are going to be a few surprises. I've mentioned before that I'll be disconnecting with you all from on social media. And I have to say, I'll miss the updates that I get from people and the cool stuff that people share on social media, but it's a part of the process of leaving a congregation. I will no longer be minister here, and I will not be in contact with you all. I've often quoted a quip that I picked up decades ago about change. And the quip is that the only ones who truly like change are wet babies, right? And those of us who have known babies know that not even all of them want change, right? Who's fought a kid, right, out of a poopy diaper, right? What an image. Right. Okay. So those of us, yes, it's not something that we get to choose to have or to not have in our lives, change overall. It's the nature of being alive. And I appreciate the reminder that Bob shared from Rebecca Solnit. Imagine yourself streaming through time. Isn't this a gorgeous image? Shedding gloves, umbrellas, wrenches, books, friends, homes, names. This is what the view looks like if you take a rear-facing seat on the train. Looking forward. It's what we do from here on out, friends. Looking forward, you constantly acquire moments of arrival moments of realization, moments of discovery. The wind blows your hair back, those of you who have some, and you are greeted by what you have never seen before. In these few moments together, we're doing a bit of facing backwards, remembering the relationship, this time together as minister and congregation, perhaps not ready for the inevitable and which leads us into the future to what is next, to that discovery, realization, to those arrivals. As our futures diverge here today, I want you to know that I have loved being with you these last 9 years and that I trust deeply in your future. This is a plucky and scrappy congregation that gets through what it needs to get through. Can I get an amen, my friends? Seriously, gang, I am stunned by your pluck. All right. And I have been from the very first. In my interview for this position, when someone asked me why I would want to come here, I replied that I thought I could help with the trauma, let's try that again. I replied that I thought I could help with the trauma that the congregation had endured through the previous year. And it's true, we emerged from that trauma strong and embracing possibility, found what's next and embraced it. And I feel wholly confident y'all will do it again. You have at this point strong leadership on the board. You have an excellent new administrator, and energy is growing toward that future. As you welcome the next minister, I look forward to you all hearing about that person, I hope sooner rather than later. I know you will find those moments of realization, those times of discovery, the ongoing arrival in the next moment. I know you will be finding and shaping the future, saving each other's lives again and again, and saving the lives of those who come along. I offer you my blessings as you continue on this journey to what's next. May it be a path of joy and of love, a path of discovery and of delight. And know that I will be holding you in my heart, even though I am far away. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to pause for a few moments now. If there has been something in our service so far today that has touched you, I invite you to take a moment to set an intention for how you will carry it out into the world. Let us pause. So may it be. Amen. Our closing hymn is number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. And as we are singing, I am going to come around with some little containers of bubbles because we're going to need them for the last part of the service. Go ahead. Did you need one?
Absolutely. I have mine. And it's 128. 1028. Say yeah, and that zero just went right past me. The fires of days remembered, burns up big and bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and souls ablaze, when we hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, we meet with great assurance of the flame that burns within, and the promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to a life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, our future brings fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, hymning winds of deeper justice, built our courageous joys. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meets to call us on our way, when we meet with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin.
Please be seated. Beloveds, may love guide you on your journey forward. Joy meet you at every turn, and hope be your daily practice. May gratitude companion you, compassion embolden you, and open-hearted courage be your unending choice. May peace challenge you, dear ones, generosity empower you. May you know every day that you are enough, just exactly as you are, and that you are not alone. So may it be, my friends. Amen, and blessed be. Thank you, Doug. Let's say the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Yes. So, while we're waiting to extinguish the flame, let me note that we aren't singing our usual closing blessing song. There were 3 things that I said on my first Sunday, full Sunday here. And those 3 things were, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna be fantastic, right? Y'all remember that, be fantastic. And what's the third one? Does anybody remember? We're gonna dance. And so we're gonna do that once we can exchange, there we go. Once we can exterminate, extinguish the chalice. We're going to put on some music and I just, y'all get wild and blow some bubbles, because this is like a disco time for us, little pride celebration before we get going. All right. And the chalice is extinguished. Let's hit it, babe. Friends, I want to note to you, there are a couple of artifacts from my time here, both from earlier time. One of our services some years ago, we made a quilt that had people got to draw and glitter and so on, and that's over there. And this odd thing over here is something that we used to talk about covenant twice, and people wrote what they